Welcome back to the Breakfast Show 2. Joining me this morning is Butler County Emergency Management Director Robbie Myers to talk about earthquake preparedness with us. So obviously this month is all about earthquakes.
Yes.
And that is especially why you wanted to come in, but I think it's relevant to talk about earthquakes because what had happened over in Turkey.
What we've seen in Turkey and Syria, I mean, just the devastation. And the reality is you can't get totally prepared for a situation like that. However, we can do some things that prepare beforehand, and also those of us in the work with response and recovery, there's things you can do that can get past that event a little quicker and better. And so that's a couple different things. It's just share some things that people at home can do. And then another event we're having that works with first responders and non-governmental agencies and others that would play when we respond and recovery. So those things that are important to talk about, particularly in emergency earthquake awareness month.
Yeah, exactly, and especially since we're so close to that New Madrid fault line, it's just
absolutely.
You never know when an earthquake could strike.
Yeah, then that's part of the science of it. They can't predict it or know when it is, but we know that we are in a dangerous area, in the New Madrid seismic zone, and so it just makes sense for families to be prepared.
And so then, how can we be prepared to the best of our ability?
One of the things is just having an emergency survival preparedness kit, and that's good for floods or tornadoes or just ice storms or anything that might knock out power that we've seen in recent times. And so there's just a list of different things. One is water, is having a gallon per person for however many days you think you need to be prepared. Used to there was 3 days, we're thinking probably more 2 weeks is what people need to be prepared for. And so that's for drinking and sanitation, having that, and then having some non-perishable canned food. And it's having those, and I think it's also important not just to get those, you go and set those up and forget about them. You need to rotate those things out as you go. So if you got a camping trip, grab that water and replace it and things. And other things, in our high-tech world, there's lots of things. We need, batteries for your devices. So your cable or satellite might be out, but you probably could still hopefully watch KFVS on your digital device if you have the power for it. Another thing is having a portable weather radio. We encourage everyone to have a weather radio in their house somewhere that's plugged up. This one is an addition to that, and it's, again, National Weather Service controls what goes out in the messaging. Earthquakes aren't specifically part of the Weather Service or weather event. However, they work with local emergency management for whatever messaging we need to get out. So if cell towers are down or regular radio and others, sometimes they can get some messages out. So that's another thing. It's good for all weather-related things, but any emergency messaging we can get out. Other low-tech things, got the canned food, you need to have a manual can opener. A lot of us rely on the electric ones, having this so you can access that food easily. And something simple as having pencils, but if you're going to have pencils, make sure you have a pencil sharpener. And then something as simple as a whistle. So if you can reach different people, let people know where you are if you were to get trapped in a certain area. So those different things, and there's different lists to get. Go to Butler County EMA Facebook page to have that list. We'll be happy to share that. And there's different things, but anything specific for you and your family. Different papers, medications, if you have infants, the formula and diapers, just things that make sense for you. It's just common sense to have things if you're not able to get out of your house for a few days.
Right, exactly. It kind of seems like those things that you really rely on every single day to maybe keep you alive or just every single day that you need. Those would be the things to keep in that earthquake kit. Now talk a little bit about the Earthquake Summit that is coming up.
Yes, coming up in less than 3 weeks. On March 16th, we're having it in Portageville at the Fisher Delta Research Center at Roan Hall. We've had this is our 5th annual one. We've had it in Sykeston, Poplar Bluff, and we had it virtual one year for some reason. And then we were at the St. Louis Science Center last year, trying to just get different things. But having it right in the heart of the New Madrid seismic zone makes a lot of sense. And one of the programs we're most excited about is, Elena, you having a conversation with Dr. Moon Choi, the president of University of Missouri, and talking about all the resources that University of Missouri system can bring to disasters, particularly earthquakes.
Right.
It's not necessarily an entity you would think of as far as that, but they can provide a lot to us, and we're proud to have them as a partner in preparedness. We encourage any professional or anyone that works with a group or charity that would respond to earthquake to check that out. And again, they can go to the Butler County EMA Facebook page and register. It's a free event, but it's more of a professional development as opposed to a public awareness.
Right,
so.
exactly. And, you know, I think talking about earthquakes just every week, every single day, it's something that always needs to be on our mind.
It needs to be on our mind, but we need to not scare everyone to say this isn't an area that you don't want to visit or live in or invest in. We just want to be prepared and try to eliminate some of the fear and do the best we can to make it safe for the families here in our region.
Exactly. That is the best thing that we can do. Well, Robbie, thank you so much for joining us to talk all about earthquakes this morning. We'll be right back.